Baruch Hashem, God is so awesome and amazing. That's how every one of these should start. Earlier, I guess it was last week. I don't even know what day it is half the time. But last week I had an attack of Amalekitis. Some guy on or some person on Twitter just randomly found some clip or some post I shared of donating as part of my teshuva for stealing. And he really didn't seem like a very or they didn't seem like they were really enthusiastic about the whole concept of helping people do teshuva. And they asked me for like a source. They specifically said, "Dude, not a good look. Saving souls is basically said, like we're not the Catholic Church." Like just because idol worshippers take the truth and misuse it, or whoever idol worshippers or heretics or whatever, And the more I thought about it, it's most of the people that dislike the term saving souls are usually the people that need to be saved desperately, because there's like a 99.99999% chance that they're surely headed straight for Gehenna. But most of the people that like to talk about saving souls, they're just like this person thought, they're going straight there just as well. But it's still, it's still a thing. And I couldn't. They were like, "What's riddle me this?" Basically, what's the source in the Torah for saving souls? And I should have just not said anything. But like, just watch the video, man. Watch the lecture and pray for God to show you the truth and have some mercy on yourself. But when I was trying to find it, and I found all I could think of was the source I heard recently about Abraham when he left Haran. That's one of the I think the first specific things that the sages talk about as mentioned in the Torah in like chronological order for saving souls. But that was Abraham's whole purpose of Avraham Avinu, was to try to help people do teshuva, like teach them that there's only one God, stop worshiping all these false idols and statues and like trees and stars and whatever else. But a lot of this stuff is in the midrashim and stuff that's not in the Torah, and I don't have. First of all, I haven't read any of it. I've only heard various rabbis talking about it, but I don't know if it's permissible for the goyim to read the midrashim, so I don't read it. I got plenty enough to deal with it. I can't keep up with on as it is with what I'm allowed to learn. But the quote on the screen is, "God is so amazing. I was watching or listening to Musar Perkiavot. I think it was 20, either the night before or yesterday morning. And then Rabbi Reuben had the live English shiur from Jerusalem yesterday morning. I think it started about like 10:30 Pacific, around there. But like the two things I was like 2 days in a row. In the Musar Perkei Avot 20, Rabbi Reuben mentioned Jeremiah 15:19 as one of the sources for doing kiruv. I mean, there's really a ton. It just depends on what a person's qualifications are for like how strict and like rigid they want to be, or if they even believe in God in the first place, or believe that there's an afterlife, or any of the 13 principles of Judaism, or or the Torah. I really like the word Judaism, but that's what everyone uses, and it's most well known. But Rambam just called it the 13 principles of faith, which is probably more accurate. But then the very next day, after I found that, I was like kind of begging God, like, please help me find something so I can like reassure my own doubts that this person has infected me with. Even though I know, there's no reason for doubt, because I know 100%. I just couldn't, like, I'm a moron, a total Amma Eretz, and don't have a solid enough grasp of the Torah to be able to like reassure myself. Won't save anybody else, really. But we'll have to do whatever we can. So then I was watching the live shiur from Jerusalem, and Rabbi Reuben again mentions Jeremiah 15:19. And the shiur I was listening to from Musar Perkei Avot 20, it's like I don't know, 5 years old or something like that. And it's not a verse I've heard him quote very often, or that I could ever recall. I've heard him quote other sources. Mainly, I think most of them are just from the Gemara, which all have sources in the Torah or the Tanakh. But one thing about that person's comment that made me think of some things was, I think Rabbi Reuben mentioned the shiur yesterday also, was that people want all kinds of like Torah proofs and sources and all kinds of stuff, and they don't really want a source. They don't want they don't care about whether the rabbi that they're listening to has a shmika, like a rabbinical like a certificate that says that they know a certain amount of stuff and they've been tested on it. They don't really care about any of that. All they're looking for is an excuse to keep doing whatever it is they're doing, to not do anything else, and to totally disregard whatever it is they don't want to hear. which most of the time it's going to be most of the time it's going to be the truth. But let's get on to the important stuff. I mean, not that this isn't important, but like time critical, since this is Elul, and it's I figured this was some inspiration for myself and possibly anyone else out there, and a source for maybe maybe you might be able to help somebody see the truth with, but only if they're looking for the truth. If they're just looking for an excuse, nothing's going to help. You could, God could open up the sky and replay the giving of the Torah all over again, and they would still be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you have a Samika? What yeshiva did you go to? Where's your university diploma? But keys to success. It's right here in front of me. I'm God grants sight to the blind. He doesn't grant wisdom to the fools, but if you're a fool and you want wisdom and you toil for it bad enough, he'll give you little bits at a time to see if you're worthy of any more. He is infinitely merciful that way. Therefore, the Lord says, if you return, then I will bring you back, and you shall stand before me. And that right there in itself is a huge statement that most people have no idea what that really means. You can't just go, say I'm sorry and have everything fine and stand in front of God. You'd be absolutely destroyed. Be wiped out in an instant. Like the sons of Aaron did when they burnt the foreign fire. I think it was Nadab and Abihu, or Nadab, depending on what the pronunciation is, and they were righteous. They were clean. They weren't filthy, disgusting people. They just didn't follow the rules. They used their own thinking rather than the rules that God laid out. But you have to go through a person has to go through the process of teshuvah to stand before God. Or to be in the presence of what they call the Shina. I'm not sure if there's very many people in this world that would be able to do that, but I have no idea. All we can do is try to do our best to do teshuvah. And if you bring out the precious from the vial, you shall be as my mouth. Basically meaning he will answer your prayers if you help other people do teshuvah. Let them return to you, but return not to them. Basically, you when you do kiruv, when you help people do teshuvah, you want to bring people up to the Torah, not like make excuses or like go go into a den of filth trying to save people and then end up falling back into sin yourself. That's definitely not a recipe for success. But the if you do these things, it's essentially it is a promise from God, and it is guaranteed to work that He will accept your teshuvah. But you have to take it seriously. It's not like a super cheat code where you don't have to do anything. The person still has to do their own teshuvah for all the stuff that they can possibly do, possibly remember. And then that's what Kiruv is for. That's what helping other people do teshuvah is for all the things that we we can't possibly hope to remember and track down all the feathers that flew out of the pillow and blew out in the wind for all the consequences of our actions. All we can hope to do is try to do the inverse of that, not by pulling all the feathers back in the pillow, but doing it with something good, like blasting out an atom bomb of goodness into the world. And the one of the most important things, other than helping other people to do teshuvah, is when you pray for help for whatever it is, whether it's like strength to get through whatever challenge that you're going through, or food to eat, or for your teshuvah to be accepted, or for God to help you and show you all the things that you need to do, just to be able to get real Torah every day. If you don't already have a destination that you've chosen, hopefully you make that decision really soon and stop fishing around for the truth, because that's not a recipe for success. It's a guaranteed recipe for failure, 100%. But you pray for someone else. Pray for someone else. Most importantly, pray for God's kids, to pray for Him to have mercy on them, and to for them to do teshuvah. Pray for everyone to have this strength to fight the Yetzer Hara, and so we can all live and not die. I'm not sure what else. What else exactly? I know there's a lot of other stuff to go over. Just can't think of anything right this second. A little more than 37 days left. Depending on where you are. If you're further east, maybe there's only 37 days. As soon as the sun goes down, that's 37. Because that's the beginning of the real day. God's days. Because one of the most important things to start with for doing teshuva for most people is, making sure that you believe in the right God. Because most people don't. Even most people that believe in God don't believe in the right God. Even most people that that believe the what most people call the Old Testament, they don't believe in the right God. And the Christians are idol worshippers by definition. Other people, like certain sects of what people call Judaism, don't believe in the right God, and the Muslims don't believe in the right God. I mean, they believe in the God of the Torah, but they don't believe in the right God. They don't believe in the God that took the Jews out of Egypt. And so one common denominator between all those people is that they don't take they don't take certain things. They don't take a lot of the Torah like people should. God doesn't change his mind, and his word is not only the truth, it's like forever. It's a promise. And so not only will he not make a new covenant or go back on his word or choose a new nation or anything like that, he's also not going to shave any, nullify any of the Torah, like just because it's the year, whatever, doesn't matter when it is, but there's no exceptions. I know the truth hurts, but if you want to save yourself, you gotta swallow it and beg God for the strength to fight the Yetzirah, to fight Satan trying to get you to vomit it up and not move on for all the other things that we have to do to accept it and follow the Torah so that we can live. Because if you want what people call a religion that's easy, you just stick with the New Testament. That's about as easy as it gets. And everyone that doesn't toil for the truth and doesn't do everything that they can to glue themselves to God and learn the Torah, everyone, doesn't matter who they are, and in the end they're all going to join forces. Whoever survives that long. In the end, it's going to be all the heretic, all the heretical Jews, all the seculars and atheists and secular and atheist Goyim and Christians and Muslims. And they're all gonna unite against the truth. Just, I don't know how likely it is any of us will be there when that happens, but just in case you are. And you see that, then you'll know to run as far away from, wherever you're standing, if you're in that group. I guess I might get going. So I'm not sure what else to say here. There's lots of work to do. Every week, every day, every year. But if you can make it, if you can make it to accept that and start to do teshuva for, if you did believe in the New Testament, if you can start to do teshuva for that, then there's probably not much else that you couldn't do. Not that it's any of it's going to be easy, but all of this is within our ability. We just have to learn, apply what we learn, and just glue ourselves to God. And that also means gluing yourself to people that learn God's Torah. You gotta find a rabbi that that speaks the truth, and then stick to him like glue, and learn everything you possibly can. Because if you don't have a rabbi, you are 100% doomed. It's only a matter of time before you become a if not a total heretic, at least make a lot of serious mistakes. Because you need a compass. And the other thing about having a rabbi is you follow the Torah by having a rabbi, because these are the rules that God put in place for people to follow. He appointed Moshe, and then Moshe appointed the 70 judges, and then the judges over thousands and hundreds and tens, I think is how it went. And then there were the prophets, and the Kohanim. And then after this destruction of the temple, I didn't just nullify all that stuff. Everything was everything was transferred to that group of guys that everyone that believes in what people call the Old Testament or the Torah all hate, or everyone that believes in that but doesn't like the obligations that the rabbis put in place. They all unify in their hate for the sages in the oral Torah. But without them, there would be no Torah. There would be nothing at all. I mean, you just look at any group, any person, anything that doesn't have a leader that's a Torah sage, and they're totally doomed. I mean, every sect that splintered off outside of what people call rabbinical Judaism after the destruction of the Second Temple all became heretics or idol worshippers. And everyone now, like what happened with Chabad after, it didn't take too long after the Rebbe died, and they have no leader, they have no compass to guide them, and so everyone just is shooting from the hip, basically doing whatever they feel is proper, which is not how to live. That's a recipe to go to hell real fast. But one of the other major things is it gives a person, besides it was God's, these are the rules that he put in place. Person has to have that because God grants wisdom to the wise. So if you don't have a chain that goes all the way back to the beginning that you're connected to, which the only hope of that is, a rabbi, not just any rabbi, a real rabbi with Yirat Shamayim that follows the tradition of the Masorah of the Torah. If you don't have that, you don't have any hope other than God's infinite mercy to give you little bits of wisdom every once in a while. Hoping that you'll nullify your own ego long enough to see the truth and find your way through the dark. But it also gives a person someone to count on. All that matters is that they're connected to the chain of transmission of the Torah all the way back to when God gave it 334 years ago or something like that. And that they have Yirat Shamayim. They learn for the sake of heaven. That's pretty much it. Oh, and they just say you're supposed to only learn from someone that has the that's like, I think it's like someone that's like you're only supposed to learn from someone that's like an angel. Well, what they mean by that is someone that has like really good character traits, refined midot. It doesn't say they don't really mean an angel literally. They just mean someone that's as close as possible as you can get to. Most people haven't got quite that far yet, but the key thing is that they they have Yirat Shamayim, and that they're working on fixing their midot. And however long they've been learning, they've made progress. But if you don't have a rabbi, the other thing is you have no one to count on for for your mistakes other than your own ego. And a person will be held seriously liable for all their mistakes if they didn't submit at some point in time. There's one thing everyone has to admit: there is absolutely no way anyone could ever hope to even the Goyim could hope to know all the things that we need to know to not commit sins even on accident, even through a lifetime of learning without some kind of teacher. And even if you came close, you'd still have a lifetime of sins that were only the cause of arrogance. That's really, really what it boils down to. I mean, there's a certain point where you could say, okay, I just, I needed to feel things out because I wasn't sure at first, for however long that point in time was. But if it goes on for too long, it's certainly nothing more than the Satan, the Yetzer Hara, just using your own ego to keep you lost in the weeds and doom you to hell. So you got to get over that hurdle ASAP. You don't have to pick where I learn. It's just when you find a source, when you find a rabbi that helps you, you have to devote all your effort right there, because you'd be a fool to just fish around. One, because God grants wisdom specifically that each person needs to their teacher. So if you're floating around to different rabbis, you're gonna force God to split up everything that you need to hear, and it's not going to be as concentrated, and it's not going to hit you and wake you up enough to make you really do anything. And two, it's like a reciprocal. The rabbi needs help just as much as you do sometimes. They need strength and motivation to keep going. And to save, to help other people. It takes money, whether we like it or not. I mean, you don't want to split your you don't want to spread your earnings or your tzedakah or charity around, or atonement for your sins. Your money that you need to pay for doing teshuvah, if you have it. If you can, you have to. And Goyim aren't obligated to give maser, to tithe, but everyone's obligated to do teshuvah. If you want to live anyway. If you want to have any kind of decent life. Now or after this world. Well, the reason why I picked Rabbi Reuben was, one, he was one of the three rabbis that I pretty much learned from. There was a few here and there where I watched a clip for the first 6 months or so. But after that, I pretty much narrowed it down to him and Rabbi Mizrahi. And then I started watching Rabbi Anava's lectures after he got back on YouTube after he got banned. But the main, excuse me, other than his lectures seem to impact my soul the most and get me motivated to actually like really change. But other than that, which is really the most important thing, was that it seemed like he was doing the most for people that I could physically see with my eyes, and seemed like the most easily accessible that I could keep learning from. And the fact that everything was free, that was also a great thing. So I really don't like money, and I don't like having to think about it. I definitely I don't really make any. Although I was getting close to the point where I'm gonna have to look into something to figure something out. Make some more, put some more vessels into the world for God to give me Parnassah. But I just really liked the way he set everything up. Was he just seemed like he had just a massive amount of emunah in how everything ran. Like, just God pays for everything, and people need help, so just put stuff out there and write a check, and God's going to put the money in the bank account one way or the other. Like he said numerous times, everything's everything you see at the live events is free. Like I don't know if you've seen some of the intro stuff, or maybe the outro on some of his live lectures that they hold at they've been holding them at hotels. Well, like all they give out CDs and USBs and books and like Siddur, like prayer and blessing booklets, and kippas and tzitzit, and I basically give almost everyone that goes there like an instant become an observant Jew bag, or at least like a jump start for everyone that's Jewish anyway. Everyone else gets just the CDs and USBs minus the other stuff. It's all free, but someone has to pay for it. Whoever has money and the merit. That's the amazing thing is there are people with like millions and hundreds of millions of dollars that say they want to like do stuff and give money and and support Kiru, but it's all just hot air because they don't have the merit. They don't have the merit to do anything. They end up giving like millions of dollars to build reform schools or throw like $500,000 wedding parties, but they still can't write like $1,000 or $10,000 check for CDs or USBs to help people do teshuva. Once you know what the value of someone doing teshuva is, then you finally understand like why that is. Especially when you hear like how they made their money, like they own a string of nightclubs or casinos or something. God doesn't let someone that caused up, thousands of people to sin to instantly just help create thousands of people to doing teshuva. The first step would be closing a non-kosher business. Oh, that's something else. That's gambling is theft, so we can't gamble. Because no matter how much a person that might be gambling comes back willingly to win or lose money, no one ever wants to lose. So it's basically stealing. So you can't gamble. I think the halakha is like less like $1 or something like that. I'm not sure if it's $1 or more or $1 or less, but good rule is just not to do it at all. All right, I need to get going though. So I'm just rambling here. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully, anyway. Hopefully, God grants us all the mercy and strength that we need to all complete our teshuva. Hopefully, He will help us uproot and blot out the name of Amalek that infects every single human being. Amalek is kind of like herpes, like a cold sore. It's always there. It's just not always under control. That's why it's important to just learn a lot of Torah. And always, like I mentioned before, we all need to pick, something like sooner rather than later to go over and to burn it into our mind and our soul. So it's like always in the front of our mind. Anytime any doubt creeps in, or any thought of sin or desire or yetzirah, you can always just go straight to that and repeat it in your head and visualize, the pit of hell opening up right before you if you continue that line of thinking or desires and following your heart or your eyes wherever they want to lead you or lead us. And then with that in our heads and praying to God for help and Him giving us strength. We can always stay out of Gainham. I'll talk to you guys soon. 37 days left.